To run or not to run is the biggest challenge on the hands of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan regarding the 2023 presidential election. But some of his loyalists are offering him a way out. His key advisors and some former ministers in his cabinet have advised him to ignore the calls to join the 2023 presidential race. We gather that they told Jonathan to forget about ditching the People's Democratic Party for the APC, as feedback from the party leadership shows that they are not forthcoming on automatic tickets for him. This just came out from the blues, as in it's something that's been gathering momentum, and we felt that it's one of those gists that we pass with time. But I didn't take it, serious till a group of protesters went to Jonathan Goodluck, former president. And I expected that the man should say, thank you for your love, thank you for your attention and your love and your agitation. But what we are having here is that unequivocally that, look, I'm not interested, I'm a statesman, I've retired, I'm just going to be the father of the country. But what he said here was, watch out. And with that watch out, yes, he just told me something. He did not deny it.
Yeah, Ayo, you shouldn't have been entirely surprised, because in our climb, politics is somewhat of a career. It's somewhat a career, and how do I mean? People within that space.
What did you forget in the villa in 2015?
It's beyond that. So for them, politics is work. It's a means of livelihood. That is what is at play here. So if politics for you is a career, you don't see any other thing. It's for you, it's not about being a statesman.
It's about diplomats.
Yeah, it's
on behalf of the country. He's all over Africa. His name is out there. He's winning awards. He's giving lectures all over the world.
That is what it should be. But what do you find on ground in terms of reality? Still the same greed that is driving people. Those who have come out to club, you and I know that it takes nothing to mobilize people. The same people you hire in the morning to sing your praise are going to work for your opponents in the evening. So it really takes nothing. Mm-hmm. So those who are pushing him are doing so because they want to find a job for themselves. All right? It's not about the interest that they have for this country. Otherwise, for a man who has acquitted himself well in terms of the way he handled power without, allowing for the kind of concerns that a lot of us were bothered could happen. We all thought that he would just sit quietly and lap, the limelight, as it were. But that is not happening. But I wasn't totally shocked, and that is because in our environment, politics is just a way to put food on the table, and that is what is happening. A lot of the people who are in it are not doing so because they love you and I. That is what is happening. But again, you don't want to deny him what is supposed to be his right, as it were. I know that legal luminaries are all over the place, positing what is right and what is not. But until we're able to define what is right or what is wrong, the man has a right under the Constitution to say, I want to contest. But the morality of it is the concern of most Nigerians. Is it right that having served, for 5 years, 2 years, holding brief for the late President Yaradua, he ought to have, taken time, to ruminate over what is happening in the country and probably act as another statesman. But that is not what is happening, and that's because some people are throwing certain pegs at him. Oh, if you do this, you can run for under 4 years because the Constitution allows it. While the likes of Femi Falana are saying, no, you shouldn't do that, because under the law, you cannot take another shot at the presidency. But those who are behind and pushing him are doing so because they believe that at the end of the day, if he walks out, food is going to drop on their table. But again, I ask, is this how we're going to make progress as a society, as a country, as a people? Absolutely no. We should be driven by the higher ideal, to build a society that is progressive, one where everyone believes that the country cares and that it can make meaningful contributions towards the growth of the nation.
What is Jonathan looking for?
Well,
not in PDP now.
Yeah, in
All Progressive Congress, the party that vilified him, the party that led to his exit in government, the party that called him corrupt, the party that told Nigerians that this person is not fit to be the president, the party Lai Mohammed lampooned and brought him down. At the end of the day, he was voted out in 2015.
The return of Jeff, indicates so many things. First of all, that politicians will say what they do, they will deny. And they will deny what they will later say. About 2 years ago, this issue came up. It was denied by everybody. It's not possible. But now these signals are becoming brighter. Then it also shows that politics in Nigeria is no longer about conscience. It's no longer about integrity. And when you have a people that have no conscience, there is nothing that matters to them. The interest of the people means nothing to them. And it also raises questions about the fact that I think President Buhari would like somebody, the person that will succeed President Buhari, he will prefer somebody that will be better than him, if you ask him. Does it now mean that there are some people that think that President Goodluck Jonathan, that we removed 7 years ago, is better than President Buhari? Better than President Apparently. So in a way, it's a vote of no confidence on the APC itself. That the APC has left, it has
some governors are championing within the APC are the ones with some strong people.
It shows that all the campaign, were just mere propaganda. That in fact the man was quite better than the candidate.
To demonize Goodluck Jonathan as a 7 years.
You are now asking him to come back, not even in his own party. You now want to accept him as your bride in your own party,
and it's giving you condition.
It's sick. So it shows that in Nigeria, anything is possible. And I think it's also a clear indication that the political parties in Nigeria, both PDP and APC, they are only different in appearances. Fundamentally, they are the same. Because if you look at Labour Party in UK, Conservative Party, traditionally for over 100 years, you know what each party stands for. The Republican Party and the Democrats in US, when you are talking about abortion, talking about labor, environment, the party has a consistent policy spanning centuries. What makes APC to be fundamentally different from PDP? If you are now asking him to come back, you are telling Nigerians that look, the difference is just in people. It's not about ideology, it's not about philosophy. I would think that political parties should be driven by philosophy, by ideas, by programs that will be totally different from each other. So if the idea is just to, bring the bottle, to remove the wine and put another one, I think it's contemptuous of Nigerians. In fact, it's strictly, against the principle of democracy. And I'm shocked that, Jeff himself is not showing any resistance. That is ready to, the former President Goodluck Jonathan. And we understand what is motivating this idea has nothing to do with the basic needs of Nigerians, but the need for access to power of a clique. They believe that if Jonathan goes there, he spends 4 years, the power can now return back to them. There will be justification for nothing. So
we'll come back there. Yeah, Ayodeji is calling us from Plateau Jos. Thank you, Ayodeji. Good afternoon, Ayodeji. Yes, you are live. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Ayodeji. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon. Very nice program you are having. But amongst all this talk of the political space, one thing that has always puzzled me, we've had 3 years, all of us know, this regime has been a colossal failure, whichever way you want to measure it. But you still find that the same actors, the young people really have been a source of embarrassment because they should have positioned themselves properly, gone to the grassroots. The politics of this country started with our political forefathers going into the grassroots to get the people. They were young when they formed parties. The majority of people in this country are young. These are the backdrop of the high level of illiteracy. I always told somebody right from school, I was told that 90% of Nigerians are either subliterate or illiterate, which still stays today, despite everything. So I'm not the very optimistic person to think that there will be anything new from this whole political system, where we have underage voters, where we have a preponderance of number of people that they don't know why they are voting. It's just following the flow.
Okay, thank you.
Hello?
No, the PDP or the APC, nobody is talking about, the interest of Nigerians here, and even the APC is not speaking up. The PDP is not even speaking up. This thing is shrouded in like speculation.
Are you referring to the Goodluck Jonathan?
Yes,
stuff?
the coming of Jonathan. PDP is not saying, oh, he's still in our party. APC is not saying he's our member. But all we keep hearing is that Jonathan is coming. Watch out.
Yes, because there are games, going on that. That is the truth. Our colleague Ade, said something to the effect that the former president is being propped by those who don't want power to stay here in the South longer than 4 years. Again, that is arguable, all right? But you can tell that the conspiracy to keep quiet is because the parties are looking at grabbing power, and they really don't care about who takes that power on their behalf. It's about access to the center, because when you get to the center, it puts you in a pole position to begin to have access to the till and allocate it the way you want. So that is what is disturbing. So it's not about the generality of Nigerians, all right? It's about what do we do to get into power, and thereafter begin to define who gets what. That's why the issue of zoning, for instance, has remained, completely unresolved. And that's because they don't really care. If it's going to take one individual from the northeast or northwest or whatever, with guarantees to win the elections for the APC or for the PDP, I can tell you that issue of permutations over where the person comes from will play second fiddle. So it's just that element of greed, self-interest, that is driving the entire, conversation that we have around, Jonathan emerging to run for the presidency and all that. So
finally on this, what we have here now is that, look, at the end of this, at the end of the day, ultimately, we gather that he is seeking a situation whereby there will be no contest. Just hand me over the party ticket.
Yeah.
And don't you think that could potentially include that party?
A party that is about 9 years old, 8 years old, you made no input in the formation, you just come from nowhere, and then you just emerge as a candidate. How would the other people feel? And even if you emerge, it's not mechanistic that is going to win the election. It might just be a way to give power back to the PDP. So, and if he emerges, what will happen? What will be the consequences, for the APC itself?
Days ahead will surely answer that question when it's 1st of May, and the APC will be having their convention on the 30th of May. So in the next 29 days, I'm sure when the nomination, if Jonathan is going to pick his nomination ticket as a member of the All Progressive Congress, if he's going to pick that nomination, or if he has been registered in his Ogbea local government,
as a card-carry member.
As a card-carry member of the All Progressive Congress after serving as president under the People's Democratic Party. Days ahead, we'll just be clearer, we'll know what is really happening with that party.